At its most fundamental level, music marketing and really advertising to promote our music is mostly a game of numbers and percentages. It starts with awareness, and through a series of layers, we lose kind of percentages of people until we get down to the bottom of our core fan base and people who are customers who want to financially support what it is we're doing. Now, for most artists, when we start, it's this sort of spray and pray approach. We just post as much as we can think of, and we release what we can, and we hope for the best. But the sooner we can sort of transition from that approach to a more calculated, mathematical understanding of how this whole system works, the sooner we can arrive at a place where we can start actually earning money from what we do and build at least some sort of a paid hobby or even a full-time business on top of doing the thing that we love. Now, I'm sure we're all at least somewhat familiar with a very basic marketing funnel, but to review, it kind of looks like this. We can look at the top bucket as awareness, the middle bucket as consideration, and the bottom bucket as a dollar sign or actually making a purchase, earning money from what we do. Now, I've done a few videos in the past on this from different angles, and I will link to those in the description of this video if you want to go check any of those out. But for this video, we're going to take this basic 3-part funnel and we're actually going to divide it up further. So if we divide this into 5 distinct parts, now we can give each of these steps a more granular look and actually ascribe a name to each of them that represents what each bucket is. So at the very top, we have our audience. For argument's sake, this is anybody who has seen or heard literally anything from you in their entire life. It could be half of a second of seeing one of your videos, a very quick blip of hearing a preview of a song. The point of this is your audience is filled with people who know you exist, even if only momentarily, even if only subconsciously. The next layer down is listeners. I've separated this out from your audience, even though the two kind of can overlap. Listeners, I'm viewing for this exercise is people who have chosen to come back for more and listen to your music more than once. There are listeners in your audience at the very top. Yes, these are people who've discovered you on algorithmic playlists, editorial playlists, or even third-party playlists. And they've listened to you one time. Maybe they've actually listened to you more than one time within the context of those playlists, but they haven't taken the step to become listeners. And to me, a listener is somebody who is consciously making the decision to consume our music more than one time and on their own terms. So this is somebody who's listening from our profile, listening from their own playlist or in their own catalog, or creating playlists that they want to share with others that include your music that they are also consuming. Now, after that, we have followers. These are people who have heard of you. Now they've chosen to consume your music on a regular basis. And after that, they're choosing to pay attention for longer than just a fleeting moment. So this includes people who follow us on Instagram. It can be Spotify. It could be Apple Music. The point is they click that button and they want to see more. Now, the next layer down, the second from the last, this is the one that really is the big one. This is subscribers. Now, I know YouTube refers to followers as subscribers, and that's totally cool. But for this exercise, a YouTube subscriber is in the follower bucket. That's not what I'm talking about when I say subscribers. When I say subscribers, I'm talking about email specifically. We all know that algorithms on social media platforms and even music platforms these days, they don't deliver all of our content to all of our followers. So if somebody is taking the step to become an email subscriber, they've decided that just paying attention isn't enough. They don't want to miss out. And this is a very important distinction to make. Now, at the very end of this, the very bottom of this funnel, yet again, we have customers. We have people who are going to make a purchase. When we talk about people who give us money as artists, I'm not talking about people who are financially supporting us out of the goodness of their heart, not like a GoFundMe or grandma and grandpa cutting you a check to help you live your dream. I'm talking about a transactional relationship wherein we give value to somebody and they give us their money in return, which we use to support ourselves. They have the same setup on their side. They are giving their money in return for getting something that they want. Everybody wins here. We want to ultimately pull people all the way down from our audience to the bottom of the funnel where they become our customers. Now, if we overlap this with the old funnel that we looked at a little bit earlier, it kind of looks like this. Awareness at the top is basically your audience. Now, in our audience, again, I'm including listeners and people who are paying attention on social media. In the middle, we have the big chunk of this, which is the 3 middle buckets. That's our listeners, followers, and subscribers. And then at the very bottom, that dollar sign, again, those are our customers. So now that we've laid out the more detailed version of this funnel and what it looks like when we're actually marketing our music and trying to grow as artists, let's break down the actual numbers and percentages portion of this and how this game actually works. Now, as we all know, a funnel gets more narrow the further down we go. It's not called a marketing cylinder, right? It's called a marketing funnel. At the very top, if we have 10,000 people in our audience, let's refer to this as 10,000 impressions. Now, we could post an organic reel and get 10,000 views on that and theoretically have 0 followers, 0 listeners, 0 subscribers, and make $0 off of that. It's unlikely all of that would be the case, but it is a distinct possibility. Just because we have 10,000 people in our audience does not mean that they move down the funnel. But if we assume an average conversion rate of, let's say, 10%, which I will concede is honestly quite high, but for the ease of math, that's what we're going to use here. If we assume a success or conversion rate of 10%, then that means for every 10,000 impressions we get, we end up with 1,000 active listeners on Spotify, people who are consuming our music over and over again. And if we again make some assumptions, mathematically speaking, that we have a 10% success rate again, then we will end up with 100 followers. And if we end up with 100 followers, and again, we make some assumptions about it being a 10% success rate, then we will end up with 10 subscribers, 10 email subscribers, 10 people who have decided it's not enough to pay attention, they don't want to miss out. And if we again assume a 10% success rate, at the very bottom of the funnel, we can end up with 1 customer. Now, if every customer spends $10, then we can assume that for every 10,000 impressions we get, we make $10. Now, this is a very, very oversimplified, very basic setup to explain what is an important point. Every funnel leaks a little bit. I get questions all the time from artists who will shoot me a message, shoot me a DM, send me an email and ask me, hey, Tom, I got 100 click-throughs on my ad, but I only got 50 click-throughs on my landing page, and I'm only seeing like 2 new followers on Spotify. Why is that? The reason is that the funnel leaks. It has always leaked. It will always leak. Just because somebody knows you exist does not mean they're going to make it to the next step. But the way we can maximize the success rate at every step is by automating each layer of that funnel. At the very top of the funnel, we post organic content. We can boost that organic content with ads, or we can just use an ad to sort of supplement that organic content in the absence of posting and generate awareness that way. We can then retarget all those people to send them to Spotify to listen to our music. We can also create a cold targeted ad set to send people to Spotify. Now we've got impressions happening at 2 different layers here. So we've got impressions happening from organic and boosted, and then we've got impressions happening from our ad for Spotify. And we can take all the people who have viewed our Spotify ads, our awareness ads, and all of our organic content, we can dump them into an audience, and then we can retarget them to try to get them to follow us. Now, we're going to get some followers naturally as a byproduct of doing this, but if we want to maximize that and increase the rate at which people follow, we can retarget for that. Then we can take all 3 of those top layers of the funnel, and we can lump all those people in, and we can retarget those people to subscribe to our email list. We can also break it down into other groups, just people who have clicked through on specific videos on Spotify, just people who follow us. We can retarget all these tricky ways, automate all of that, and get people to subscribe to our email list with a free lead gen, like a free download or a free code to get 50% off merch or something like that. And after that, we can create email campaigns and sequences that automatically deliver those free files and codes to people, and then follow up with them every 3, 5, 7 days, once a month, whatever, to retarget them to try to sell merch to them or physical copies of our music. And then our job becomes releasing music consistently, posting about it, running ads for that new stuff, and then sending an email out to our subscribers about that new song. So we've automated 90% of this work, and we only have to focus on music and a handful of things every single time. The bulk of the work was done up front, rather than nickel and diming our time every single time we drop a song and having to do all of this by hand. Because if we had to do it all by hand, we would burn out and quit. All of us, myself included. It makes it a lot easier to succeed if we build systems just like this. And if we can do it correctly and effectively and produce good work and create good content and earn quality relationships with our fan base, we can take this knowledge and then develop a formula where we know exactly how much awareness we need to generate how much money we want to earn at the bottom. Now, if you enjoyed this video and you want to go deeper with topics just like this every single week, then I hope you'll subscribe to my newsletter, The One Thing. Every Tuesday, I send out one thing that I am thinking about or testing on my own to succeed as an independent artist. So if you do want to subscribe to that, I will leave a link to do that in the description of this video. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.